The goal of this video is to learn about how to factor polynomials using a method called grouping. Right, we're going to do a little bit of review in this slide first. First, I want you to recall what the word factor means. Factor means to rewrite something as a multiplication problem. Let's look at these two problems here, right? And let's recall what it means to factor these, or how we can turn these into multiplication problems. Right? So this first one, we can think of this as saying 4 groups of x minus 5 plus 2 more groups of x minus 5. Right? If I were to write that out real fast, we can see this as 4 groups of x minus 5, kind of like this, x minus 5 plus x minus 5 plus an x minus 5 plus another x minus 5. And then I can add 2 more groups of x minus 5, plus x minus 5 plus x minus 5. Right? So that would be a total of 6 groups, or we could say 4 plus 2 groups of x minus 5. Right? So right here we've rewritten it as a multiplication problem. Right? This one down here, it's the same kind of idea, except we don't know exactly how many groups of x minus 5 we have here. We have x groups of x minus 5, and we're adding 3 more groups of x minus 5. Right? So the total number of groups we have of x minus 5 in this case are x plus 3. Right? So x plus 3 groups of x minus 5. X groups of x minus 5 plus 3 more groups of x minus 5. So the total number of groups is x plus 3. X plus 3 groups of x minus 5. Okay? So we're going to use this concept and one extra step as we learn some of our new problems. Alright, so by the end of this video, you should be able to factor something like this. Right? And we're going to do a method called grouping. Alright? So the first thing is we're actually going to kind of split this up into 2 separate problems. We're going to factor these first 2 terms together, and we're going to factor these second 2 terms. Right? So at the end, we're going to have something here, right, plus something here. Okay? So let's just look at this in 2 parts. Let's just look at this front part. If I were to take x to the 5th minus 5x cubed and factor that, I could take out an x cubed. I could factor it as x cubed times x squared minus 5. Right? And that makes sense because x cubed times x squared is x to the 5th. X cubed times minus 5 is negative 5x cubed. Okay? All right, and then let's factor this second part. Put that over here. All right? So 6x squared minus 30, I can factor that as 6 times x squared minus 5, right? Because 6 times x squared gets me back to 6x squared. 6 times negative 5 gets me negative 30. Right? So what I have is this first part here, x cubed times x squared minus 5 plus 6 times x squared minus 5. Right? And at this point, this problem should look familiar. Think about it. We have x cubed groups of x squared minus 5 plus 6 more groups of x squared minus 5. So we have a total then of x cubed plus 6 groups of x squared minus 5. And now we have our polynomial factored. We have it rewritten as a multiplication problem. Let's look at another one. Okay, so you should take note that this method here works when you have 4 terms. Right? This grouping method is really useful when we're trying to factor something that is with 4 terms, just like the one in the previous one. Right? And again, to start, we're going to look at this kind of as 2 separate problems. We're going to look at these 2 terms together and then these 2 terms. Right? At the end, we're going to have something, something, something minus something, something, something. Right? We're going to kind of have this in 2 separate parts. Okay? All right, so let's do this first part here. Okay, 2x cubed plus 14x squared. What could I factor out? Right? I could factor out a 2x squared. So if I take out 2x squared, I would be left with x plus 7. Right? Always double check. 2x squared times x is 2x cubed. 2x squared times 7 is 14x squared. That works. Now let's factor this back part. So negative 5x minus 35. I can pull out a negative 5. All right, negative 5 times x is negative 5x, and negative 5 times positive 7 is negative 35, right? That checks out. Okay, and then once you get here, this should be a familiar problem. We have 2x squared groups of x plus 7, and then we're taking away 5 groups of x plus 7. So the total number of groups of x plus 7 that we have is 2x squared minus 5 groups of x plus 7. And now we have it in factored form. We have it written as a multiplication problem. All right, you have 2 here that I would like you to try on your own, and we will check these in class. See you tomorrow.